We are talking about sets today. It's very exciting. I think I got a good lesson set up for you. We're going to start with some basic definitions and notations. So first off, what is a set? A set is just a defined group of numbers. Some examples of those is going to be a big old flashback to 1.5, where we talked about classifying numbers based on their set. Remember, we had complex numbers, real, rational, integer, whole, and natural. Remember all of those? At least, hopefully they look familiar, because we're coming full circle, friends. Look at that. You could also, so those are defined groups based on characteristics. You could also just have sets as like, I have chosen this set to be this list of numbers. So it could be any list of numbers, and with sets, we use squiggly brackets. I'm not sure why it was just decided. So I can just give you a list of numbers here. I could say, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that could be my set of numbers. And I could put any number I want in there and say, this is my set. And it's like, great, because that is the definition you have given. Our next word is going to be element. And an element is just an individual number in a set. And it has its own symbol. Kind of like a C with a middle line through it, so it's kind of like a curvy E thing. It's probably some Greek letter. So for example, I'm just going to give you the number 5 and say, oh, 5 is an element of the natural numbers. I could also say, I don't know, -3 is an element of the integers. Or maybe if I decide that this set up here, I'm going to call it set A, then I could also say that 2 is an element of set A. And that's what we got going on there. So here's where you're going to use this in your future math lives. Here's an example for you. Let's say I'm dealing with some beautiful parabola, and we have the domain of said parabola. Hopefully you remember what the domain of every kind of graph we've dealt with in this class is. -infinity to +infinity. I'm going to rewrite this using set notation. Domain is an x variable, so here's what I can say for the domain. I use my squiggly brackets, and I say, okay, well, my variable is x. I'm going to put this line up and down, which means such that x is an element. Well, -infinity to +infinity, remember, we are just dealing with only the real numbers. So that is what you can see for domain. So once again, this is x. I should say all x such that. Just gonna. X is an element of the real numbers. Do we prefer interval notation? Yes, we do. But are you going to see set notation going forward? Yes, you are. So let's look at another example. Let's say the range of said parabola is going to be from -2 to +infinity. Well, this time, range is dealing with y. So y such that, or this is just part of a definition, is that line part. So you're saying I'm picking all my variables y, and y could be in the range such that, well, you see this is -2 and bigger. And so I'm just going to say that y is greater than or equal to -2. That or equal to I put there because of the bracket on the range right there. And so both of those things you could see for using set notation going forward in your future.